Welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of British decimal coinage to explore the top 4 most valuable United Kingdom new halfpenny 1/2p coins. Introduced during Britain's historic switch to decimal currency in 1971, the halfpenny may seem like a humble coin, but certain years, minting variations, conditions, and rare errors have turned some of these small bronze pieces into highly desirable collectibles. Whether found in loose change, old jars, or inherited collections, these coins can sometimes be worth far more than their face value. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom 1/2 new penny dated 1976, examined specifically in circulated condition. At first glance, this small bronze coin may seem ordinary, even forgotten, but hidden behind its modest appearance is an important story from Britain's monetary history. In this video, we'll explore where this coin came from, what makes it unique, how collectors view it today, especially when it shows wear or damage, and what kind of auction market value it can realistically achieve in US dollars. So stay tuned, because even the smallest coin can carry big historical significance. The 1/2 new penny was introduced as part of the United Kingdom's major decimalisation reform, which officially took effect in 1971. This historic change replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a simpler decimal structure. The half new penny was designed to help ease the transition, allowing prices to be expressed more precisely during a time of economic adjustment. By 1976, the coin was already well established in everyday circulation, commonly used for small purchases such as sweets, newspapers, and public transport fares. However, inflation during the 1970s rapidly reduced its purchasing power, and within a few years, the coin began to feel increasingly obsolete. This economic shift ultimately led to the withdrawal of the 1/2 new penny from circulation in 1984, giving the 1976 issue a place within a relatively short-lived coin series. The 1976 1/2 new penny is struck in bronze, giving it a warm brown tone that often darkens with age and circulation. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, showing the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The reverse displays the iconic portcullis with chains, a traditional symbol associated with the Palace of Westminster and British authority. The denomination 1/2 new penny is clearly stated, along with the date 1976. The coin's small size and simple yet elegant design make it instantly recognizable to collectors of decimal-era British coinage. In circulated examples, it's common to see softened details, surface scratches, edge knocks, and a darker patina, all of which tell the story of the coin's time in everyday use. In terms of mintage, the 1976 1/2 new penny was produced in large numbers, meaning it is not rare in an absolute sense. However, collector demand does not rely solely on rarity. Historical context and series completion play a major role. Many collectors seek complete date runs of decimal coins, and the 1/2 new penny series is especially interesting because it was discontinued entirely. Even in circulated or lightly damaged condition, the 1976 issue remains desirable as part of starter collections, educational sets, or nostalgic accumulations. Coins with heavy wear, corrosion, or environmental damage are generally less valuable, but they still retain some demand, particularly when grouped in lots or sold to collectors interested in affordable historical pieces. In damaged condition, the coin's value becomes more about representation and history rather than pristine aesthetics. When it comes to auction market value, a circulated 1976 1/2 new penny typically sells for a modest amount. In most online auctions and coin marketplaces, common circulated examples range from $116,000, depending on overall appearance and buyer interest. Heavily worn or damaged coins may sell closer to the lower end of that range, while nicer circulated pieces with clear details and attractive toning can occasionally fetch slightly more. Uncirculated or proof examples are a completely different category and can command higher prices, but for circulated coins, the value remains affordable. Despite the low monetary value, these coins continue to trade steadily, showing consistent collector interest rather than speculative spikes. If you're collecting the 1/2 new penny series, condition should always be evaluated carefully. Look for coins with legible dates, minimal corrosion, and evenly worn surfaces. Avoid cleaning the coin, as improper cleaning can reduce its value and harm its natural patina. Storage is also important. Keep the coin in a dry, protective holder to prevent further deterioration. For beginners, circulated examples like the 1976 issue are an excellent entry point into British decimal coin collecting because they are inexpensive yet historically meaningful. For more advanced collectors, pairing circulated coins with higher-grade examples can create a well-rounded and educational collection. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 1/2 new penny from 1976 may not be a high-value rarity, but it holds undeniable historical and collectible significance. As a product of Britain's decimal transition and a denomination that no longer exists, It represents a unique chapter in modern British numismatics. Even in circulated or damaged condition, this coin continues to attract interest from collectors around the world, trading steadily in the auction market at accessible prices. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your collecting journey, the 1976 1/2 new penny is a reminder that every coin, no matter how small, has a story worth telling. Next up, the United Kingdom half new penny dated 1974, found in rusty and heavily circulated condition. At first glance, a rusty half new penny might look like nothing more than old pocket change, but as we'll discover in this video, even damaged examples can carry historical importance and collector interest. We'll break down its background, design, rarity in poor condition, and most importantly, its auction market value in US dollars, helping you understand whether this humble coin could still be worth holding onto. The half new penny was introduced following the United Kingdom's major currency reform known as Decimal Day, which took place in 1971. This reform replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a simpler decimal structure. The half new penny, valued at 1/200th of a pound, was struck to help the public adjust to smaller denominations. The 1974 issue was minted during a time of economic challenges in Britain, including inflation and rising metal costs. As daily use coins, half new pennies circulated heavily, especially in the early 1970s, which explains why many surviving examples today are worn, corroded, or rusty. The 1974 half new penny is made of bronze, a copper-based alloy that is particularly vulnerable to corrosion when exposed to moisture and air over long periods. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, showing the Queen wearing a tiara. The reverse displays a crowned Tudor-style portcullis with chains, a design by Christopher Ironside that symbolized tradition and strength. The coin has a smooth edge, a diameter of approximately 17 millimeters, and a lightweight, making it prone to loss and damage. Rusty surfaces, dark spotting, and rough textures are common on coins that were poorly stored and in high-grade condition. The 1974 half new penny is not considered rare due to its large mintage numbers. However, collector interest doesn't disappear entirely when a coin is damaged. Some collectors focus on typesets, historical context, or transitional decimal issues, and they may still seek low-grade or rusty examples for educational or bulk collections. While rust significantly reduces value, extreme corrosion patterns, unusual discoloration, or errors discovered beneath corrosion can sometimes spark niche interest. Additionally, as fewer coins survive each year due to melting, loss, or disposal, even common dates slowly become harder to find. When it comes to auction market value, a rusty 1974 half new penny generally sells for modest prices. In most cases, heavily corroded or rusty examples sell between $434,000 in online auctions or bulk coin lots. If the coin still has readable details despite corrosion, it may reach $123,000, especially when sold to beginner collectors or included in decimal era sets. Exceptional circumstances, such as identifiable minting errors or provenance from old collections, can slightly increase demand, but rusty condition typically caps the value at the lower end of the market. If you come across a rusty half new penny, avoid aggressive cleaning, as harsh methods can further damage the coin and reduce its appeal. Store it in a dry environment to prevent additional corrosion. Beginners should view rusty examples as learning tools rather than investments. For those building UK decimal collections, upgrading to higher grade examples later is always an option. Always compare recent auction results rather than relying on asking prices, and remember that condition plays the biggest role in determining value. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 1974 half new penny in rusty condition may not be a high-value treasure, but it remains a fascinating piece of Britain's decimal history. Its heavy circulation, bronze composition, and survival in damaged form tell a story of everyday use during a changing economic era. While its auction market value in dollars is usually low, its historical significance and role in early decimal coinage give it lasting interest among collectors. So before dismissing that rusty half new penny, remember it still carries a small but meaningful place in numismatic history. Next up, the United Kingdom's half new penny, dated 1978, in fine condition. At first glance, this small bronze coin may look ordinary, but behind its modest appearance lies an interesting story of Britain's transition to decimal currency, collector appeal, and its place in today's auction market. In this video, we will take a deep dive into the background of the 1978 half new penny, examine its unique features, discuss its rarity and collector demand even in damaged condition, and finally look at its current market value in US dollars. So stay tuned, because you might be surprised how much historical value such a small coin can carry. The half new penny was introduced as part of the United Kingdom's major currency reform known as Decimal Day, which officially took place on February 15, 1971. This reform replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a simpler decimal structure. The half-new penny, marked as 1/2p, was created to ease the public into the new system and provide small denomination change similar to the old farthings and halfpennies. By 1978, Britain was well into the decimal era, and the half-new penny had become a familiar coin in everyday circulation. However, inflation was already reducing its purchasing power, which would later contribute to the denomination being withdrawn entirely in 1984. The 1978 issue therefore represents the later years of this short-lived coin, making it an interesting snapshot of economic and social change in late 20th century Britain. The 1978 half-new penny is struck in bronze, giving it a warm brown color that ages beautifully over time, especially in fine condition. On the obverse, the coin features the crowned portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, along with the Latin inscription Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The reverse design is simple yet symbolic, showing the denomination 1/2p above the words New Penny, with the date 1978 below. This straightforward design reflects the practical nature of the decimal coinage system. In fine condition, details such as the Queen's hair, facial features, and the clarity of the lettering remain visible, though some light wear from circulation is expected. These features help collectors assess authenticity, condition, and overall desirability. From a mintage perspective, the 1978 half-new penny was produced in large quantities, which means it is not considered rare in absolute terms. However, collector demand does not rely solely on rarity. Even in damaged or heavily circulated condition, these coins attract interest from beginner collectors, decimal coin specialists, and those building complete date sets. Coins with unusual damage, minting errors, or extreme wear can sometimes draw niche attention, especially when paired with a clear date and readable design. While damaged examples carry limited monetary value, they still serve an educational purpose and remain collectible as part of Britain's decimal history. This steady baseline interest ensures that even lower-grade coins are not completely overlooked in the numismatic market. When it comes to auction market value, condition plays a major role. A 1978 half-new penny in fine condition typically sells in the range of $433,000 depending on eye appeal, surface quality, and demand at the time of sale. Well-preserved examples with even coloring and minimal corrosion may reach the higher end of this range, especially if sold in bulk lots or as part of a complete decimal set. Damaged or very worn coins usually trade for less than $1, often just a few cents above face value, unless they have an unusual feature. While these values may seem modest, it's important to remember that many collectors value these coins for historical completeness rather than pure investment potential. If you're interested in collecting the 1978 half-new penny, start by focusing on condition and preservation. Look for coins with clear dates, readable inscriptions, and minimal corrosion or spotting. Fine condition coins are affordable and widely available, making them ideal for beginners. Always store bronze coins in a dry environment, preferably in protective holders, to prevent oxidation and color changes. It's also wise to compare recent auction results rather than relying on asking prices alone. Collecting decimal-era British coins as a complete set from 1971 to the final year of issue can be especially rewarding and provides historical context that goes beyond individual values. In conclusion, the United Kingdom's 1978 half-new penny may not be a high-value rarity, but it holds undeniable historical and collectible significance. In fine condition, it represents the final years of a denomination that played a key role in Britain's decimal transition. Its modest auction value in dollars makes it accessible to collectors of all levels, while its design and background add depth to any collection. Whether you collect for history, nostalgia, or completion, the 1978 half-new penny is a small coin with a meaningful story. Next up, the United Kingdom's new half-penny of 1971, often written as 1/2 penny. Even though this coin is found in dirty or heavily circulated condition, it still attracts attention from collectors around the world. In this video, we will take a deep dive into its historical importance, design features, rarity in damaged condition, and most importantly, its auction market value in US dollars. Many people overlook dirty or worn coins, but as you'll see, even a humble half-penny from 1971 can still tell a valuable story. The 1971 new half-penny holds a special place in UK history because it was introduced during the decimalisation of British currency. On February 15, 1971, known as Decimal Day, the United Kingdom officially replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a modern decimal system. The new half-penny was one of the very first coins struck under this new system, making it historically significant. It was minted during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and produced in large quantities to support the nationwide transition. While millions were struck, many were heavily used in daily transactions, which is why most examples found today are worn, dirty, or damaged. The design of the 1971 new halfpenny is simple yet symbolic. On the obverse, it features the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, which became one of the most recognizable royal portraits in modern coinage. The reverse shows the portcullis with chains, a historic symbol associated with British authority and Parliament. The coin is made of bronze, giving it a warm brown tone that often darkens over time. In dirty condition, collectors often see heavy oxidation, dark stains, scratches, and loss of sharp detail, but these signs of wear also reflect the coin's long circulation history. Although the 1971 new halfpenny is not rare in absolute numbers, demand still exists for it, even in dirty condition. Many collectors seek it as a type coin, meaning they want at least one example from the first year of decimal coinage. For beginner collectors or budget-conscious buyers, dirty or heavily circulated coins are often the most affordable entry point. Additionally, collectors who focus on circulated coinage value these pieces for their authenticity and real-world usage. While pristine examples are more desirable, damaged coins still maintain a steady level of interest due to their historical role. When it comes to auction market value, condition plays a major role. A 1971 new halfpenny in dirty or heavily circulated condition typically sells for around $324,000 in online auctions and coin marketplaces. Coins with extreme wear, corrosion, or cleaning damage usually fall at the lower end of this range. However, if the coin has readable details, an intact date, and no severe structural damage, it may attract slightly higher bids. Uncirculated or proof examples can be worth significantly more, but today's focus is on the realistic value of commonly found dirty coins. If you own a 1971 new halfpenny in dirty condition, resist the urge to clean it aggressively. Cleaning can permanently reduce its value by damaging the surface and removing original patina. Instead, store it in a dry, protective holder to prevent further corrosion. For collectors, it's important to compare prices across multiple auction platforms and study completed sales rather than asking prices. Building a complete decimal set, even with circulated coins, can still be rewarding and educational. Always remember that historical importance often matters just as much as condition. In conclusion, the United Kingdom's new halfpenny of 1971 may seem like a small and common coin, especially when found in dirty condition, but it represents a major turning point in British monetary history. While its auction value in dollars remains modest, its role in the birth of decimal currency gives it lasting appeal among collectors. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone checking old change at home, this coin is a reminder that every piece of currency has a story. If you enjoyed this deep dive into British coin history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share because you never know which ordinary coin might turn out to be a hidden piece of history.